Back in August, a fantastic piece of art was posted by the account known as Finn on Twitter, and it was a Porygon, but a Wii. So I knew I had to do what I do best and make it real. So, how did I do it, and what other features did I pack inside? Well, I'll let you know right after I get outside of this CRT. It's kind of cramped in here.
So I'll admit, I'm a bit of a Porygon fan. I made Porgles to hold all of my Pokemon DS games, and the moment I saw this poster, you know I had to buy it. So when somebody tags me in a Porygon Wii post, you know I gotta make it. So, where do we begin?
Well, it starts with acquiring a Wii, but not just any Wii. This is the Family Edition Blue Wii, and while the color is exactly what we need, I can't stand one thing about it. And no, it's not these nasty bits. I'll clean that up later. It's that there's no GameCube support. So, I have to buy a donor Wii because we're gonna do a little shell swap. And besides the fact that this Blue Wii clearly had holes to be GameCube compatible, there wasn't really anything fun or interesting about this process. So, let's skip to the part where we now have a GameCube-capable Blue Wii. Now, if we look at the original art, we can see that I also need 2 blue Wiimotes and a blue nunchuck. Thankfully, the blue Wii I bought came with this, but I still need 2 Wiimotes. So, one sec.
Oh, hey, Matt, how you doing? Come again anytime.
Now the only thing I need before I start designing all the 3D parts is an accurate model of the Wii. Thankfully, somebody made a Wii XL project last year that required them to model the Wii from scratch. And that person just so happened to be friend of the show, Bringus Studios, who also just so happens to be, according to Steam, known as Sussy Baka.
No, it's not true. I'm not a Sussy Baka. I'm not the imposter. It's not true.
Okay. Well, thanks for the model, I guess.
Now that we have our 3D Wii, it's time to start modeling.
Hi, current day Big Rig here. You might be noticing that this is Tinkercad, even though I said I'd be using more mature CAD software. That's because production on this video started months ago, way before I started learning actual CAD, so just deal with all of this, I guess.
So now I've designed the body, the feet that will hold the Wiimotes and snap into place, the eyes and pupils, the tail for the nunchuck along with this bit we'll get to later, the head, and of course the schnoz. But before printing everything out, I have to figure out what color I'm going to use because I want the filament to match the Wii's blue color as closely as possible. For this project, I actually went and bought a NIX device which can give you the hexadecimal value of a color in real life. What does that mean? Well, the hex code is basically a code value to measure the primary color levels and their brightness intensity. And what's crazy is that an old roll of blue filament I had laying around was ridiculously accurate to the hex value of the Wii, and no other filament reel that I researched came even close. Also, this shade of blue looks kind of familiar. Where have I seen it? Oh, come on! For the pink, I bought this neon pink looking filament because I thought it would look good. So now we're ready to print everything out. And first things first, you gotta listen to this.
Oh yeah.
Now the first challenge we have here is connecting this side piece to make it into a flap so we can plug in GameCube controllers. It took me a while to figure out a solution, but I bought these little mini hinges. And with a little bit of firepower, we can melt everything into place. But while the flap is up, the leg will go up as well, so I printed out this mini GameCube stand that I can just slide right into place. Now for the neck, I'm gonna stick with the original art and keep it black by using this 13-inch microphone stand that allows me to bend and twist the head's position to however I need it. And I designed the tail model to have this screw part that allows the stand to twist into place. And thankfully, my small hands are finally useful for something. Tightening this microphone bolt. Speaking of the head, the Wiis I bought also didn't come with a sensor bar, so now it's time for me to finally complete a challenge I made for myself over a year ago.
You see, in early 2023, I made my second trip to Japan, and I really wanted to make a project from scratch when I was in Denden Town. This area is Osaka's response to Tokyo's Akihabara, and it's one of the last remaining places where you can just buy all these electronic components from a brick and mortar store. And because all of the components of a Wii sensor bar are relatively simple, I thought this would be the perfect project to tackle. The only issue is I never really found a reason to make the sensor bar. Until now!
What's the name of this place?
Silicone house.
Perfect.
Like silicon house. Silicone house.
You telling me this is the one that's gonna have everything?
Oh, it has everything.
This is my friend Ryan. He currently resides in Osaka and is also the artist behind my channel art. Today he's guiding me around Den Town and all of the interesting things you could possibly find. But my mission today was to grab some infrared LEDs, a mini perf board, some resistors, a pocket charger, and a USB cable because there's nothing going on in the sensor bar. It's just lights. In fact, all of the processing happens inside the Wiimote. Kind of funny about all these Gundams and then minions. This is heaven for me, man.
Yo!
All right.
That's kind of cool.
Hey, this place literally just has everything.
Yeah.
30 yen? Perfect. All right, we got one of the things on the list down. Cool. Hey, we got some 3D printer stuff. The gachapon of just random electronic stuff. All right, this resistor. I think got it. Oh. Look at that, we found it. Perfect. So fast forward 20 months later, and we finally have everything we need to make this sensor bar happen. All it takes is a bit of wire stripping, soldering everything down to a perf board, and using a bit of hot glue, we can finally slide everything into place. And now with infrared light hopefully emitting from PorWiigon's eyes, we can shove everything into PorWiigon's head, and with the power of magnets, we can snap PorWiigon's nose into place. But before we properly test this, I feel like we need to inject the soul of PorWiigon into this thing.
What do I mean by that? Well, since PorWiigon is completely comprised of code, it wouldn't feel right unless there was an actual PorWiigon inside of this Wii. How do I do this? Well, there's this software game-ish thing called My Pokemon Ranch, which allows you to interact with and store Pokemon from Diamond and Pearl onto your Wii. The only issue is, I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to catch this PorWiigon, so I asked the Pokemon Ranch Master... Oh, that was fast.
So it turns out in Diamond and Pearl, there's this rich guy who tells you stories about Pokemon he's seen in his backyard. But when his butler realizes he's lying because the Pokemon isn't even found in Sinnoh, he orders the butler to import the Pokemon directly into his backyard grass. It's very funny, and I can't believe I never cared about this mechanic, even though I had 190 hours in this as a kid. But with a few resets, he finally populates his backyard with Porygons, and after a handful of encounters, we finally have PorWiigon. Oh, it turns out I could have gotten a freebie from Platinum. I wanted to earn him anyways. So after quickly depositing Porygon's soul, I just need to get some Wii games because they're all back at my parents' house. So...
Oh, I didn't know you were buying. What are you doing? Those are my games. Those are my games!
Okay, now that we have at least the Wii Sports games, it's time to test them out. The Porygon Wii has a cute little boot screen, and its eyes actually work as a sensor bar. And yeah, this excited me more than anything else about this project. But there's only one thing left to do.
Whoa! Who the hell are you?
Just the guy who likes Wii Sports, of course.
Okay, do you want to play?
Oh, yeah.
All right, hey, you want to stick around for some GameCube?
No, I'm good. See ya.
Huh. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, GameCube works perfectly fine. Just the energy's a little off now. I miss Wii Sports Guy. But overall, I call the Porygon Wii a huge success. And if you would like to make one yourself, all of the files are available on my Patreon.
Okay, one quick Porygon fact. Did you know that it learns Zap Cannon when it reaches level 60? Well, you can also learn skills by leveling up with today's sponsor, Brilliant.
Brilliant is a learning platform where their lessons have you actively learning the material with their hands-on approach. I'm sure many of you are like me, where I just don't absorb lectures if I'm not actively engaging with the material. But Brilliant's lessons guide you through learning with animations and interactive modules to make sure the lessons actually stay with you when you're done. And as you go through, you start to earn XP. Wow, it's like I'm a Pokemon, but for real. I've used Brilliant to brush up on my Python in the advanced sections, and I lost track of time because I was admittedly having fun. And if you're watching this channel and wondered, magnets, how do they work? Brilliant has a complete lesson pack that conducts you through all kinds of magnetism mechanics, pulling you through with their attractive lessons that keep you positively charged the entire time.
Like a magnet.
So be sure to check out my link below so you can get 30 days free and 20% off an annual plan. And thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring the video, and as always,
special thanks to the executive level patrons: Harley Jean, Grandma Watson, Marco Carini, Sally and Dave, Zebramang, Connor Rhodes, Don Necco, Evan Timmerman, Jameson Zabalos, and Jimmers.